Welcome back, everyone, to the Game Time Podcast. It is time for the final segment here for this episode. It is time for the wrap around segment. I was going to do the lottery, but I'll get my lottery rant off once we get done with the wrap around segment. What I want to talk about, Daryl, is I don't know if you've seen it, but NBA on NBC will start up next year. And I just got to say, I am very excited about the lineup that they've got. You've got game analysts being Jamal Crawford and Reggie Miller. So Miller comes from TNT over to NBC. Play-by-play, you've got Noah Eagle and Mike Tirico. I love both of them. I think Tirico is good. I love what Tirico does for the Olympics and everything else. And then special contributor will be Michael Jordan. So I don't know if you saw that today.
Yeah,
and then,
I saw that. Listen to XM 86. Yeah.
Then studio analyst will be Carmelo Anthony. I think NBA on NBC will be the best thing for the NBA in a long time when it comes to media coverage. I think we both kind of agreed when we kind of first met was inside the NBA needed to go. I feel bad because people are losing their jobs? Yes, I'm not advocating for all that. I just think with the way Shaq and Charles Barkley specifically, I give Kenny Smith a lot of credit. He covered the game in a positive way. I think Shaq and Barkley, I think most of the time they were just bashing the game, right? And saying, oh, they were being old heads. I mean, I'm gonna say it like it is. I think they were just being old heads. And even there's sometimes where it feels like they'll openly admit, oh, I'm not watching the Pistons. Oh, I'm not watching this team. It's like, you don't say that. If you're not watching.
Well, but check this out. To your point, they say it. Other guys proven they haven't watched either. If you watch some of these podcasts, and I'm not talking about just radio podcasts. I'm talking about ESPN podcasts.
Yes.
I forget the young ladies on with my man Lou Williams. They were and the guy that played from Memphis. They were talking about the Pacers in the beginning. So, the Pacers really struggled all year.
Chandler Parsons?
Yeah, Chandler. Yeah,
that's a fan. I think it's like FanDuel or something. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
But it's on television. I'm like, wait a minute. They didn't struggle all year defensively. They wound up being 13th in the league.
Chandler Parsons should be in jail for money frauding with how much money he got out of the league.
But that's my point, right? Just because Barkley and Shaq say it, doesn't mean that they're the only two that they're not watching.
I agree.
I'd rather have them tell me they're not watching than guys acting like they're watching.
That's fair.
And then they open their mouth and say, damn, he's not watching. That's just my point.
I just think it's a bad view, especially when that's the best. When you look at the TV, I mean, that's what everyone loves. Inside the NBA is the biggest platform at the time for the NBA at this moment. And you got your biggest media personalities, those two specifically, saying that type of stuff. It's just not a good look for the league. I think the talent that is going to be on NBC's lineup, and even Amazon's lineup, Amazon's got Blake Griffin. They got a couple other people that I can't remember at the moment. I think the media deal that the NBA signed, obviously it's all about money. I don't disagree with that. But I think the coverage that the NBA is going to have these next couple of years is going to be the best coverage since the 90s and 2000s, because you're bringing in players that pretty much played in this current era, and they do love the current era of basketball. And Reggie Miller is one of those people, obviously played in the 90s and the 2000s, but you can see he likes this era of basketball as well. I think for the NBA, they did a great job with their TV deal because I think their TV studios are hiring the right people. I think a bad example of a TV deal is NASCAR. NASCAR took money over publicity, right? They signed a deal with Fox to broadcast the first half of the year, but most of their broadcasts are not on Fox. It's on Fox Sports 1. They took the money over the TV and being on the bigger network, and the coverage is horrible on Fox Sports. I'm a NASCAR fan. I keep up with it here and there, and people whine about Fox Sports' coverage all the time. But you know who's doing a good job? TNT and Amazon. They went out and got current day drivers or drivers that recently just raced. And they're doing a lot of different things that NBC and Fox, who have been the broadcasters for the last decade, have just not been doing. So I think I love what the NBA did. And hopefully this makes ESPN step up their coverage as well. Because I think Amazon and NBC are going to blow them out of the water next year.
And you make a good point, right? When you talk about coverage and that type of thing and bringing guys with fresh perspective. Here's what I would say from an NBA and what I've been on my soapbox. I understand that Barkley and Shaq say non-positive things. I get that. But when you look at a game and a guy doesn't get touched and he falls, That's a black eye
No,
on the
I
game as
agree.
well.
I agree.
When you look at a game and you see a guy making excuses for a coach making excuses for a guy acting foolishly, that's a black eye on the game, right?
Yeah.
When you see a team shooting 60 plus threes, no innovation with regard to basket, that's a black eye. So it's a collective black eye. It's not just one or the other. It's collective. And what my biggest issue is when you see a guy gets swiped at and he doesn't get touched, man,
No, I
and he
agree.
falls. And you know what? And I'll say this: if they were playing on the concretes, what they grew up on, they wouldn't be falling so much.
No,
I'll leave
that's
it
a
at
fair
that.
point. I agree. That has something to do with it, but I obviously media coverage, that's what attracts the casuals, right? And at the end of the day, if you want a successful business, you got to ring in the casuals here and there to, to get,
Well,
so
you got to collect. If that's the case, you got to collectively let your
and
team
I
know.
agree. And I think and media coverage plays a role, but so that also plays a role as well. I don't disagree with you.
100%. Let me tell you this. I was listening to Adam on his interview with Eddie Johnson in Termini on my way here today, right? Adam Silver. He talked about what can we do to better the game. He talked about doing these creative things for All Star, U.S. versus the world, bringing more people to watch the All Star game. What I say was this: how about you ask the players to play hard? How about you ask the players to participate in the whole All Star extravaganza, right? How about you say, hey guys, instead of all these extra gimmicks, when you're out there playing, and these fans think about the All Star game and how much it costs to go to an All Star game, and you got guys out there playing like they're playing at Rucker Park. That's that's the challenge. So then you say, well, we're going to try to do some other creative things with U.S. versus the world. Integrating the women's game into the all those things are gimmicks.
Yeah, and that's not
If
going to fix the league.
those players play hard for the All Star game, that fixes it.
Yeah, that's not going
And,
to fix the league
no,
whatsoever.
I didn't say league. I'm talking about the All Star game week because that was the
No,
big conversation, right?
yeah, and me personally, I mean, I guess the All-Star game it definitely would help if it was better. I guess for me, since I watch it all the time, I don't care for the All-Star game being better. I don't even care that it goes on, but I get for the casuals and to get that audience, you need it to be good.
A lot of people love it. A lot of
Like
people
it.
spend a lot of money going to the
Yeah.
All Star games, and all I'm saying is, ask the onus has to be on the players at some point as well. You
Yeah.
can't legislate everything to make the game the win. At some point, the players, hey, listen, we need you to do these things.
Yeah.
You're part of this thing. They're not, yes, they're employees, but they're partners in this. That's why there's
Yeah.
a collective bargaining perspective, and it's also why they're called collective bargaining,
Bargaining
not
agreements. Yeah.
bargaining. Yeah, collective,
I,
and they got to act like it's a collective.
I'm curious to see what they do. I think the other thing somebody put on Twitter was a couple weeks ago. It's like, you see the NHL, they did an expansion. The WNBA is doing expansion. Why are the two leagues that make the most money not doing expansion? The NFL doesn't really, I don't think the NFL needs to, honestly.
No,
The NBA needs to do an expansion, in my opinion, because you have Las Vegas and you have Seattle, two markets that have grown over time.
talked about that. They talked
You
about that on the
you
call. They talked
need to
about
do
that.
that. And not only that, the league needs balance. We talk about the draft lottery tonight. Cooper Flagg's going to the West. The East at this point needs to file bankruptcy. Like, I mean, the East is
Nah,
losing everyone.
I
I
wouldn't say all that. Well,
no, I know.
I would say
I'm
this.
just joking around, but I think
But I would
oh, go ahead. I'll let you go and then I'll give
I,
my point.
no. I would just say, the expansion is got to be right, man.
I think the
We
right
talk
time
about
is now.
watering down and that type of thing. Also, you got to talk about the shared money too. That's a big deal as well. That shared money with two more teams coming in, that's going to impact financially. So they've got to do a lot of work on that. And that Boston, that new ownership in Boston, that moves that needle a little bit.
Yeah.
So there's
I
a lot more to it than say bring us two more teams and call it a day. It's so much more to it than that. If you listen to the interview on the XM86 with Termini and Johnson today, and Adam Silver is on there talking just about this exact same thing.
Yeah, I just think expansion would help, not with just parity on in the conferences alone, because if there was an expansion, Minnesota and Memphis would move to the East. Now, obviously, Memphis is not the prize there. It's obviously getting Minnesota because it's you look at the map and you cut it down the middle. Minnesota and
I,
Memphis
I,
lean on that side. I just think conference parity would be a lot better, but I do want to get to the lottery. So I think
okay,
we'll be
let's go
done with my
lottery.
segment. I'll
Okay.
let you give yours, and then I'm ready to rip into the lottery. I'm I'm
No,
I'm
I would
ready.
just say this. I would say this. I don't think Minnesota or Memphis is a prize. Both small market teams, they're not prizes. They're prizes right now because you see what Ant is doing, right?
Yep.
You see what Ja's doing in Memphis. In 5 years, if Ant's not there, look at Minnesota, right? Now they're a cold weather team up in Minnesota, and they're not a big market, and no one wants to go there, right? So I say you got to be creative with your expansion, and it has to make financial sense, right? And I just don't know that Seattle, along with Vegas, from my perspective, is right now. Maybe in a few years, yeah. But let's see how this new bargaining deal works out. Let's see how NBC plays out, and then let's see what happens with the new All Star Game matchup. As you think about this, you've got a declining. I won't say decline. Well, I'm not going to say it's a declining product, but you got a product in upheaval right now. You got some people saying I hate the NBA. You got some people saying, oh, it's on the come up. Let's see how this shakes out with NBC and all these new frontiers before we make a decision to say
Yeah.
let's go ahead and expand. That's what I
What
think.
what's your wraparound? Or was that it?
No, what my wraparound is this. So over the last 5 years, there's been a decline in players making themselves eligible for the NBA draft. This year, 106 players right now currently are eligible for the 2025 draft. 5 years ago, 5 years ago, 335 players. Some people are saying it's NIL. Some people are saying guys are doing different things. I say it's NIL because if I'm a
Yeah.
college player, I can be a millionaire playing college. I don't have to wait for the golden goose of the NBA to make my money. Think
Yep.
about this: 106 players this year, 5 years ago, 335. What's difference? NIL money. And I think that's good because what it does, it gives those players time to develop longer in a college dynamic. Yes, they can play more, they can practice more as pros, there's G League and all those things. But these players say, listen, I'm going to be financially sound, I'm going to be more mature, not just physically. I'm going to be more mature fiscally when I decide to make that jump. 106 players. Guess what? There's going to be 60 players drafted, and it's probably going to be 20 that are going to be European.
Yeah, I agree. I think
On
I
that,
if it were me, and I kind of agree with what a lot of NBA players say it. They don't think college is, the best. It doesn't translate well to the NBA. I don't know how you feel about it. Honestly, I don't have a fair opinion because I don't watch enough college to make the judgment, but I agree that college is
there
a
are players
more
that does. There are
yeah,
players that
I
it
think
does.
college is just more team oriented. So in that case, the star player isn't, they're not the system.
Offensive
The team is
structure.
the yeah,
Offensive
the
structure,
team is
right?
the
Yeah.
system. The player is not the system in college. And I think that's why a lot of players, and I said it a couple years ago, and I think I'm somewhat right. I think going overseas is the better move than going to college if you want to have a somewhat NBA type of
Yeah.
format and you want to, you know,
Well, you're mature. You're mature, right?
yeah,
You go there. It's just like going to the military, right? Yeah, you could get out of high school and go to college or get a job, but going to the military is a little bit of a different feel, right? You have more responsibility. You're on
yeah.
your own, right? So you got to make those decisions, those adult decisions.
Hmm.
Whereas going into college basketball, eh, everything's struck. Your time
Yeah.
to eat, all those things are kind of set
Yep.
for you. Yeah, yeah, I'd
Yeah,
agree with that.
I'm interested. And we've got some guests coming up that are going to be able to talk more about NIL here in the coming weeks. I'm not going to reveal those guests, but I am excited for them. But Daryl, I'm like chomping at the bit here
Let's
for
make it
for this
happen, man.
this has me chomping at the bit because you said it. You like Dallas. I like many other people on Twitter. Okay, a lot of people on Twitter are mad, and some of those are Nets fans, obviously. Some of them are Bulls fans, obviously. I'm thinking, so for me, I haven't made a full decision yet, but I'm thinking about the league as a whole and since they've made the odds where the top three is 14, 14, 14, it's definitely changed things. But I got to throw a couple things at you, right? We're going to throw on our conspiracy hats once again here.
Let's do it.
Uh,
Let's do it.
uh, let me find the tweet here. So it just coincidentally, right? The Pelicans traded AD to the Lakers. The Pelicans jumped from the bottom of the lottery to get Zion. The Mavericks trade Luka to the Lakers, and they get Cooper Flagg. And then somebody brought up another good point. they said, oh, yeah, we almost forgot the time the Cavs got Andrew Wiggins right around the time Braun was a free agent with a rumored Cavs return, putting Cleveland in a perfect position to make another deal. Crazy. You got other people saying, it's an inside job. Somebody said, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, but it seems awfully convenient the Mavericks traded Luka to the NBA's biggest market and then get rewarded with Cooper Flagg. Bill Simmons, who I love Bill Simmons, he said, get the F out of here. Come on, man. Somebody says Spurs jump to number 2 in the draft where Dylan Harper is supposed to go while they're already having De'Aaron Fox and Stephon Castle. Giannis should just go sign his Spurs extension right now. So there is a lot being talked about on Twitter, and you've got Nets fans mad and you've got Bulls fans mad. And the reason Bulls fans are mad, I'm trying to confirm, King of the Fourth Quarter, he's a popular NBA YouTuber. He's been on First Take. He's a Bulls fan, known Bulls fan. And apparently, I need to find an actual report. The Bulls lost, where the Mavericks won this draft. Apparently, the Bulls lost due to a coin flip. So the Bulls lost the tiebreaker that would have been the Luka pick. Now in 2025, we lost the tiebreaker that would have put us in the top 4. And so basically, they lost Cooper Flagg because of an effing coin flip. That's what the Bulls fan on Twitter said. There is a lot to be talked about right now.
Crimea River.
Crimea River.
1983, Patrick Ewing. Don't try it. The frozen envelope. Don't want to hear it, man. Crimea River. Get over it. You know why? Because you can't do anything about it.
I agree. I agree.
You got to get out there and take what's given you. Because remember, Dallas was the butt of everybody's jokes. Everybody was having fun at Dallas's expense back in February. Oh, this is a Laker slam dunk, title coming, blah, 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 all those wonderful things. Now what?
No, I agree. I think
so. Get over it, man.
For me, I think a lot of people. And it's going right to what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm looking at Twitter.
The outrage.
As the host of the show, I try to be a mediator. So I think a lot of people are just like, this team got rewarded for trading their all-star caliber talent, which makes me think that I'm putting on my conspiracy hat. Adam Silver called up Nico Harris and he said, look, ratings are down. We put Luka in LA and we will hand you Cooper Flagg. We will hand you the best white basketball player since Larry Bird.
Okay. So you get Cooper Flagg. You trade Luka. I want to go back to February. Is what you do. You get those receipts. I'm a receipts guy.
Okay.
Look at those people talking that noise. See what they said in February. See how they clown Nico, how they clown Dallas,
everybody was clowning Nico.
Awarded the Lakers the title. First round exit. Goodbye. Now what? So what will make you laugh will make you cry. They laughed in February. Let's call it like
no, I agree.
They laughed in February. Now they cry. Hey, man, listen.
It's just
that's the difference to me. That's the difference to me, right?
It's just fishy. It's fishy to me that the two.
There's a lot of things that are fishy.
I agree. I'm just saying. Look, I'm just saying. We can have an
episode. We can have about 3.
I know.
About just that.
It's just so. I mean, you can't say it's not weird. It's not. The two teams that have made a big deal with the Lakers were rewarded for making it does that's not that just comes off fishy, and I'm a Lakers fan.
But listen, look, what did they get in New Orleans? Garbage.
Nowhere.
Nothing.
Yeah, I agree.
Nothing. So there's no guarantee that Cooper Flagg is going to come in and set the world on fire. You don't know that.
So if you're getting paired with Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving,
they're going to reward New Orleans. They awarded New Orleans an overweight Zion who's injury prone. Brandon Ingram, who's about him.
Yeah. Well, Brandon's gone.
No, I'm saying.
Oh, you're saying in the context, yeah.
The trade, yeah. So you don't know what could be. Guess what? When the Pacers traded Domantas Sabonis for Tyrese Halliburton and Buddy Hield, I heard that the Pacers got fleeced. It's terrible. It's terrible. You're sending more talent to the West. I bet you Sacramento would like that trade back.
Yeah. You know who also would want that trade? Philadelphia. I saw a report that
Yeah,
Philly had the chance to get Tyrese, but that was just something I saw
yeah,
earlier in the week.
and that's what I'm saying, right? So you don't know how it's going to play out, right? It matters your coach, your players, and how things come together, right? I remember a guy telling me in one of my sports group when Buddy Hield, I think he hit like seven threes in a row at the 3-point shooting contest in the All Star game. Oh, look what the Pacers, they messed up, only getting second round pick for Buddy Hield. Come on, man.
So I guess the next thing we'll highlight. Oh, I guess another fun fact. This is the first time ever that the WNBA and the NBA have had the same city have the number one pick in the same draft. So there's a little fun fact as well. But I want to talk about the teams that were that had the worst odds and that are now picking like fourth, sixth, and like eighth. It's Utah, Washington, and Charlotte. I have a theory about Utah though that I want to
Okay.
get into. The 2026 NBA draft has a kid that I think I gotta find his name. He committed to BYU. I don't his name is AJ DeBonsa. I don't know if I said his last name right. BYU is located in Utah. Am I right about that?
Yep. Yep.
Your camera's off, by the
Utah.
way.
Oh shoot. Okay, my bad. My
So
bad.
and
I
obviously
was getting a message.
I've kept this in the back of my mind since then. I don't remember the clip. I don't remember where I saw it, but it was basically just saying like who wants to guarantee that the Jazz will get the number one pick once this kid declares for the draft? Because he is highly decorated. You know, we talk about how good Flagg is. He is real. That AJ is just as good. He's basically the number one pick in 2026. I would not be shocked if Utah gets the number one pick next year because this guy played at BYU. You know, out of all the places he picked BYU. It kind of
I
feels like
know.
to
Yeah.
me, it's setting up Utah to get him. But I do feel bad for Washington, and I do feel bad for Brooklyn. Now,
I
I
don't.
no, no,
I
but
don't.
I, and but on the other side, I do think, you know, I'm iffy about tanking. I think tanking's wrong in a lot of regards, but I also see like sometimes you do just need to blow it up and reset. I understand that too. For Brooklyn, I don't feel that much uh, sadness towards because they've just messed up everything that they've had.
Right.
Washington is kind of like Atlanta. People go there to die, but Washington is trying to figure something out. You got Alex Sarr last year. You're kind of in the
Good
process
player,
of
by the way. Good player, by the
yeah.
way.
So it's like for Washington, I probably feel more bad for them just because I feel like they're starting to figure things out. If anything, I think Charlotte's in a great position. I think VJ Edgecombe is that's the go-to pick for them.
because
You pick Edgecombe.
because they've got this wing player from Alabama, and I believe that he's one of the next, but he's a small version of a young Paul George.
Yes.
That's what I
Yep.
believe he is, and I think that if Cooper Flagg would have went there, I think he would have played well together. But my issue is these teams that are tanking. Okay, I'm not saying, oh, I hate that they tank. You tank, you make that decision. You know
Mm-hmm.
your percentages when you go in. I'm gonna tell you from this perspective. I was at the Pacers Wizards game in Banker's Life. They took out their starting team, their starting three of the
Players.
starters in the fourth quarter
Yeah.
in a close game. Oh well, you know
So
your odds. Oh well,
and
you
I
deal with it.
think so.
I've got no pity for him at all. None.
With the odds changing in the last couple of years, I mean the draft has had dramatic changes because of these odds being switched.
Well,
I
because teams were tanking, they did it.
Yeah,
Let's call it like it is. They did it to stop teams from tanking.
tanking. Yes, yes.
Well, there you go.
And I think, and I once again, I'm not saying I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just like I said, I'm mediating. I'm just kind of in the middle because
I'm
once
with
again,
you. I'm just saying. I don't.
I
I wish Ramon was here to see what his take would be. I
I
mean, teams tanking. You sleep with the devil, man. You get what you get, man.
I don't know how to feel about Dallas hitting because on one hand I agree, you know, it's the lottery. Congrats to them, but man, a part of me really wanted Chicago to get it. I like all bias put in. I did want to see Chicago win. I know you're a Pacers fan through
No,
and
no, I don't know. No, I don't know. I don't care about Chicago. It wouldn't have mattered to me to where
no,
he
I
went.
agree.
I'm
I'm
just
just
saying.
saying, like, I'm saying in the
If we,
context of you don't really care who gets it. I'm just saying for me, you know, I
yeah.
like teams. There's teams I really don't care for. Chicago's one of those teams where it's like, you know, if I see them doing well, I'll be happy for them.
So if we're talking big markets, why didn't Chicago get him? Why didn't
I
Philly get him? Why
I
didn't the larger market teams get him. Why is that not happening? Then
Would you? Well, I mean,
if in
Dallas is
fact why didn't Brooklyn? Dallas is not a bigger market than Brooklyn. It's not a bigger market than Philly, and it's not a bigger market than Chicago.
No,
Not.
I'd give Dallas over Philly and maybe
Oh
Chicago.
man. Oh no. Chicago's the second largest city in the country. What are you talking
That's
about?
fair. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
so what I'm saying, so this big market, why didn't if 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 they're going to rig it and go to the big market, it's okay, Chicago or Brooklyn.
Or
Why
Philly.
not? Or again, or Philly. So because I think I don't have the almanac in front of me, but I think Philly and Dallas are very similar.
And now I feel like I mean we got to go into the next conversation. I think it's what's not being it's the other talking point here. San Antonio gets number two. I mean, you can I mean you can sign and seal deliver it. I mean if at this point if I'm Milwaukee, I get on the phone. I mean see what I mean. And even Dallas, there's Brian Windhorst just said it. I've got a stream pulled up of the lottery. I got the subtitles on. Dallas has wanted Giannis for years. Like
Yeah.
there's a serious ploy now for either of these two to get Giannis. I don't really care what Philadelphia does. They're sitting at
But
number
here,
three, but
so let's have some Dallas talk, right? So we can wishing, all those things are great, but we're talking Dallas bringing Giannis over from Milwaukee. Okay, Milwaukee gets Cooper Flagg. What else do they get? That's a rookie contract at $6 million a year. You have 44 million more to make up because in the NBA it has to be salaried within 10%. So what are you going to do to make that difference up?
I mean,
You got to think about
yeah,
that, right? Yes, we can throw stuff against the wall and hope something sticks, but from a realistic perspective, there has to be a third team in play.
yeah, I
If it
agree.
does,
I mean, if I'm
yeah,
Milwaukee, you've got to at least pick up the phone and call New Orleans. Try see if they're
yeah,
willing to give you your picks back. You've got to call the phone because I think with I think New Orleans will be whether it's a KD trade or a Giannis trade, they're going to be in the mix of this. There's no way Zion is going to be a one-on-one trade. I think Zion would be a part
no,
of a
no,
three-team deal. Zion's
right,
gone.
right.
I think Zion is
I
definitely
think I
gone for
think
sure.
Zion's gone, but I'm gonna tell you, my dark horse is the KD doesn't go anywhere.
Okay. And I'm
My
gonna throw
dark
in
horse is that he doesn't go anywhere.
I'm gonna throw in another name, not for Giannis or Katie, but just someone that's in trade talks as well. Will be Miami. Pat Riley already said at the end of the season conference, this team will not be the same as last year. This team will look different. Now that could mean anything. I understand it could mean
Oh no, that
anything,
means
but
trade. That means trades because your two biggest assets are Tyler Hero and Bam. Two biggest assets, right? Let's just call it like it is.
yeah.
You're gonna off both of them for Giannis
Who
because
would you move?
that's
Yeah,
what
that's
you'd have
fair.
to do.
Yeah.
So think about this. Take away Bam, take away Tyler Hero. You know who Miami is? They're the new Milwaukee Bucks with Giannis. That's who they are.
Yeah.
That's my point. So it's like I'll give you six and you give me six back. Oh, now we're even. Well, at least we made a trade.
I think
I think there's got to be something different. And that's why I think there's got to be a third team in play there with
yeah.
multiple. I mean, I'm talking blockbuster, four number ones, four guys going this way. And that's the type of trade that I think is going to have to happen or in July. That's what I see happening. I don't
Yeah.
see one player here and two players here and one pick. No, I see 4-1s, future swaps. I see hellfire and brimstone in the words of the Kane, right? Hellfire and brimstone. That's what I see.
I think if you're Giannis and you're sitting at home and you just watch the lottery, I mean, this point, bro, pick where you want to go. Like you pick, make it. You got you pick where you want to go. You got the world is your oyster now. Wait,
Dallas
if you want to
have to
wait,
give up Lively. They have to give up Lively, who they really really like a lot. They give up Cooper Flagg. I mean, if you man, but you're still talking salary because Lively's on a rookie deal. Man, it's going to have to bring more money. That's why I keep thinking another team, some type of tie in there, man.
yeah, this is it's gonna be a crazy offseason, but Giannis could also just kill this whole thing and say, you know what, I'm gonna just sit here in Milwaukee. But but like I said, I think Milwaukee, if anything, they've got to call New Orleans and see if they can get their first round picks back because
Oh, I'm sure they've called, or they haven't called. They're going to call, right?
yeah, yeah,
Milwaukee realizes when you go out in the first round 3 straight seasons, there's got to be something done. Teams that have to make a move, Milwaukee's got to do something. Miami's got to do something. I believe that Cleveland's going to have to do something after this, regardless if they beat the Pacers or not. I think they've got to do something. Detroit's a nice up and coming team. They're gonna continue to do some tweaking as
maybe,
well with their team. Chicago. Think about the Chicago.
yeah,
They can't come back like they can't run that back. So
no.
there's some opportunity there, man, to see this could be the
And for all we
craziest
know,
off.
one of these teams could move up and try. It could move up. One of these teams could
Yeah,
move up because if
possibly.
and I'm curious to see, like, say Chicago moves up, right? Do they part with Kobe Ward and give him to Philly or to
Man,
some? I'm just throwing
man,
out scenarios
that
because
kid, that kid, man, I'm telling you, I was telling a guy,
no, I love Kobe
a
White.
big
Yeah,
fan. I thought he was going to be a guy going to overseas after his second year. That guy's continuing to get better every
yep.
year, man.
No, I've always liked
Every
Kobe.
year. Yeah. I liked him too coming out of Carolina, but I just didn't see anything after his first 2 years.
No, I
But
agree.
man,
Yeah.
he's come a long way. So yeah, that's going to be interesting too. I believe as we've talked about this, we vetted these things out. I'm telling you, man, I'm gonna sit back, have my popcorn ready, man, for the summer
Oh my,
because
like,
it's gonna be a
and
crazy time, man.
I'm a draft sicko, right? So I'm ready. I'm ready for the draft.
You
In
come over
every
for the draft, right? You come over for the draft, right? We're gonna do the
yeah,
draft at the house.
yeah, we got to.
We could go
Ramon's got to
live.
come.
Yeah, we could go live on draft night.
Ramon's got to come over. We got to do the whole thing.
Yeah,
We've got
yeah.
about 10 minutes left here in the segment. When you're looking at the top prospects in this draft, Cooper Flagg is not the only top player. You've got Dylan Harper
Yeah.
at Rutgers, Ace Bailey at Rutgers, VJ Edgecombe, Trey Johnson. You've
A lot
got
of
a
good
lot
players.
of you've
Lot of
got a lot
potentially
of
really
good
good players.
players. And even the buzzer beater man himself, Derek Queen from Maryland, he's in the top 10 as well when you look at the big board. So I think for me, my favorite prospects in this draft, I mean, it's everyone there at the top, but specifically other than Cooper Flagg, I really like VJ Edgecombe and I really like Ace Bailey. I know Dylan Harper is going to be pretty good, but I really like Ace
Right.
Bailey. And I think VJ Edgecombe could be the guy coming out of this draft where he may be the best player if Flagg doesn't pan out, or he's going to be the second player behind Flagg. I really like VJ Edgecombe.
I think these guys aren't going to be busts or flops. I think they're going to be good players. I just don't know if they're going to be great players.
Yeah.
That's I think
Well, would
that
you say
difference,
good? Would
right?
you say good is an all-star?
I would say
Because I could see good
I would
being
say
an all-star.
Edgecombe, and I think Flag to me in my mind are the guys that will be all stars. Other
See,
guys, could they be all stars? Absolutely, they could be. They got to be at the right place too, man.
yes,
They got to be at the right place.
I think the two guys from Rutgers have a good ceiling, but there is question marks with both of them. I think Edgecombe defensively, um, he could be an all-star off that alone. He could be first team all defense alone, but just based off his defensive ability and then offense, he'll get better over time. You hope. Um,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is going to be interesting. I'm curious to see what Dallas is going to do now. A lot of people, I mean, obviously, social media is in a
It's buzzing.
frenzy. Um,
So Houston, I say Houston or Dallas. If Giannis leaves, it's Houston, Dallas, and the third team in that case would be Chicago.
Really, I'm saying I'm putting San Antonio at
Midwest,
one at this
Midwest,
point.
still in the East. They've got a high pick still. Chicago we got fourth, right?
Yeah. No,
They got
Chicago
fourth.
didn't get in the four. No,
Chicago
Chicago
got
got like
fourth.
no. Charlotte got four.
Okay.
No,
I don't think it'll go to Charlotte
Chicago
now.
lost the coin toss to get into the top four tonight. That's what
Okay,
happened.
okay, gotcha. Okay. So yeah, I would say Giannis. I say Houston. I say Dallas, and as a dark horse, Chicago. Only because it's right. It's not far from Chicago. It's Midwest. It's still in the East, and I think Chicago's got a lot of good young players. And they've got what player? What pick is that? Is that 8, 7, 9? Where's that? The
I
Chicago
got.
pick.
It's in that
But
area. It's in that
right.
area.
So would they have to give up Kobe White? Yeah, probably.
Probably, yeah. I think it's going to be an interesting offseason. I think for me, I'm putting San Antonio number one. I'll put Dallas number two. Um, honestly, if OKC loses, I'm going to put them as number 3, and then I'll go with you. I'll put Chicago as my dark horse. I think
Yeah,
Miami you could put as an honorable mention. Um,
yeah.
but
Has got to do something, but they don't have a lot of cap space.
yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm just
And the other thing, Miami is a destination. It's Miami.
yep.
Man, I think the culture took a hit this year when you got, one of your players not even waiting until the ink is dry on your coach's divorce before he starts dating his wife, man. I just think the culture in Miami is taking a big hit out there. People don't talk about it, but there are internal things. Jaime Highcomb didn't play at all in the second half of the season. At all, and he was healthy. You know about that situation, right?
A little bit, but I just
Well, yeah,
kind of
yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's my point. That's my point. Those things come into play.
Yep.
It's come into
I
play. So yeah,
Giannis going to the West would be. I mean, and I somebody said it tonight. I'm kind of the same way. It's like I think you needed Flag to fall on the east side of the conference. In my opinion, I understand a lot of people don't care for conference parity. I mean, I'm kind of the same way, but in that case, I don't know. In that case, I would just be like, then why are we doing the East 1 through 8 and the West 1 through 8? Just do 1 through 16 and get rid of the conference format. If
I'm not opposed to 1 through 16. I'm not opposed to that at
it's
all.
just
But
it's
under the
getting really
current,
unbalanced at this point with the
but
conferences.
Boston's the reigning champ. They're coming out of the East. So we're talking about winning and losing, right? Yeah, I get you. You got your star appeal. It's about winning, right?
Yeah.
And also, let's be honest here. Boston's the favorite at this moment, probably to win it again.
Mm-hmm.
They're right there. So I'm okay with that. I mean, if they change it to 1 through 16, fine. If they keep it as it is, I'm fine with that as well. Because no one was saying that when in the '90s when the East was dominating. And then Shaq and Kobe got together, and then they flipped it in the early 2000s. So it happens, man. It's okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm curious what'll happen. We're running out of time here. We got about 2 minutes left.
it's all good.
Daryl, final thoughts regarding anything you want to talk about, and then I'll give my last
Hey,
final thoughts. But it may not be anything NBA.
my 2 cents is easy, man. I'm hoping that the Pacers win tomorrow night. You don't want the series go any longer than it has to. If you got someone limping, you step on their foot. You
Yep.
got someone with a sore hand, you smack their hand. Let's go to Akron. I said Akron. Go to Cleveland. I'm thinking Akron. Go to Cleveland. Go to work. Put your foot on their throats and be done with it. That's what I
And
say.
sit back and hope Boston and New York go to 7 games.
Yeah.
My final thing, it'll be something we have not talked about, and that's fine with me, is the Cowboys take on the Eagles in week 1. They just released that today. I'm delusional. George Pickens is going to get 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. Dak is 10-4 against the Eagles all time. We're going to start off they're going to get my hopes so high by beating the Eagles in week 1, and then I'll get depressed once we
Man.
start losing again. But I I got a little bit of optimism, but at the end of the day, we hired a dud as head coach. Dak will eventually choke in the playoffs, but I'm going to enjoy the first week of the season. And I always give some optimism at the first week of the NFL season, but then as the weeks go on, my optimism will die down.
The realization sets in, huh?
Yeah, and you know what? I love it because I get so hyped up and then I immediately go back down. But
Yeah.
Daryl, that's gonna do it. We've
Tough,
got
man.
under 1 minute. That's gonna do it here for this episode of the Game Time Podcast. We may have a guest
So,
next week, and hopefully we have Ramon on Sunday as well. That'll be the next time we record.
so.
We will see you guys then.